Most women are taught to serve, but the ones who reclaim joy, they learn to lead. If you've been stuck in the cycle or loop of being the strong one, the fixer, the helper, this episode is for you. We will talk about how that role is draining your joy and what to do to reclaim it. And stop stop doing things out of a survival mode and doing it for growth. How to start leading from your center instead of from survival mode. I'm Zipporiah Hicks, and this is where embodied leadership meets, well, emotional liberation meets embodied leadership. We talk about all things growth, and yeah, like, let's get into it. By the end of the episode, you'll have a clear shift you can make today to stop overgiving and start leading your life like a powerful woman that you truly are. You're going to have a moment to return to that girl, okay? Because, yeah, you deserve it. So for me, a long time, well, I don't even know if it's just for me because I feel like a lot of women experience this. Like, it's almost like we're only valuable if we're doing something for someone else, or people only truly see us when we can serve them or do something for them. And that can feel really draining because a lot of times you just want to be seen, you want to just be able to exist. Like, I said it all the time, like, I wish I could just exist and be admired and through my existence. Um, Maybe that's fairy tale like, but I just feel like I do that for other people. I set the stage for other people to thrive and be around me and feel at home with me. And I just wish I had a space that would allow for that to happen for me too. And if I know I can't be the only one that feels this way. Um, but I realized that like until through growth and like meeting new people, I find like my tribe or so to speak. Um, I have to be that for myself. And I had to realize that I wasn't tired because I was busy. I was tired because I was constantly abandoning myself, saying no, saying yes when I meant no, and like also not really being afraid of how people perceive me, being afraid of to say the thing, or just being afraid to really speak up and speak my truth. But then I realized, like, how can I expect other people to be honest with me when I value honesty? Like, that's my number one. Oh Lord, I don't even want to go there, but that is my number one like pet peeve is people lying to me. But how can I expect people not to lie to me when I lie to me? That is when my actions are not lining up with what my words are saying. Like, I say I'm going to do this and I don't wake up and do it. That was a lie. And now I'm so big on keeping commitments to myself because that's another thing. I hate when people do not keep their word. Um, and I had to realize that like that irritation from other people was really an irritation within myself that I was projecting onto other people. And the reason why I also attract those other people is because that's the vibration that I live on, and that's the vibration that I have with myself. And once I came to that conclusion, I was able to start keeping commitments to myself because I had to show up and be the leader that I expected everybody else to be in my life. And I had to start, and I had to recalibrate the thought of what I thought a leader should be, or what I thought you know things should look like. I had to really say that, like, people are saying that we need to heal this, we need to heal this, and almost in your mind it feels like you're not, it's something wrong with you. Like, when we think heal, you think like, oh, you cut yourself, you want to wait for that thing to heal until it gets, returns back to normal. But you never turn back to normal because there's scars, and even if there's not a scar, there is always like a new set of skin there that is different, or lighter or darker than the other set of skin that you have there. Even when you think about it on an anatomy and physiology level, we have to stop thinking that healing means being perfect. We really have to reframe it in our minds now to say that healing means I'm aware of this not so strong part of myself, and I will care for this and protect this not so strong part of myself so that other people don't take advantage of it and that I don't spill that onto other people. Because a lot of times too, when we're in the stages of healing, you either can project or people can manipulate that part of you, because you're not aware of it. And a lot of us who are, doing stuff and being over functioning, over giving, the main thing that we're vulnerable for is love. And the main thing that we desire is to be seen. So that is why I am so adamant about like creating this space for like women, especially high achieving women who are doing all the things. The main thing that we're vulnerable about is love and showing up for each other, and you know, not even just showing up for each other. That's the thing that we need. That's the solution, is to show up for each other instead of allowing these men to do it. Because we yes, we have these friendships, but are these friendships a true sign of intimacy? Have we built up emotional walls that keep them out? Because I had to be real with myself. Like, I'm expecting this out of a man, but I can't even show up in my regular friendships as an authentic version of myself. So, how do I expect to truly be seen? How do I expect to truly give in a way that's like a dance? Like, I want to truly meet a partner where we just dance with each other and we go back and forth. But how can I expect this if I can't do it in my day to day? If I can't even do it with myself? Like, I really had to reevaluate some things and do a inventory. Right? What are my values? What do I like to do? And what are the things that are non-negotiable for me? And how am I not keeping up with these things in my own life? Because if honesty is something that I value, am I being honest with myself? Am I being true to myself? And yeah, so that was one of the things. And it was also a moment where everything is spiritual. As above, so below. I had to really think about the spiritual undercurrent of why these things happen. So I had to take a look at my lineage. I had to take a look at my mom. I had to take a look at my dad, my grandmother, and my great grandmother, and all of the things that pressured them to have us focus on one part of my life and then ignore the other part of my life. And that's one thing my dad would always say, like, friends is gonna be there, the boys is gonna be there, all this stuff will be there, but get your education. And the reason why is because that was pressed, that was what was pushed. And the reason why that was pushed, because our ancestors, they value freedom. And the freedom that they were giving us, women especially, was not real freedom, because you couldn't buy a house without a husband, or you couldn't go get a bank account without a husband. Now we're seeing that these are not this was not freedom. This was another way to control. And the only way to be free was to have the knowledge. And the only way to actually obtain the freedom is to take the knowledge and apply the knowledge, right? And we're doing all the things, we're doing all these things, but then we're so lonely because um yes, we went a little bit too excessive, but I think there is there's a way for us to come together and kind of heal and integrate these parts of ourselves. And when I say heal, I always mean integration, because I never want to say I want this part of myself to be perfect. No, I want to know how to work with this part of myself, because you're not going to always like every part of yourself, right? You're not going to like every person that you meet. And I said it to say that every relationship that you have in your life is going to center around yourself. How do you treat yourself? If you don't like parts of yourself, you're definitely not going to treat the person that you don't like at work like a human being, because you don't even treat the parts of yourself that you don't like a human being. And that is where compassion comes in, because you just never know what other people are battling with, and you never know, um, you know, their undercurrent, because you're struggling with the same thing. You're spiritually, we're all in this um uh plight for freedom. We're all trying to get on the other side of things. And once you see that that was always the goal, it's easier to kind of reframe the way that you're thinking about it. And you can go into observation mode and just not visualize, but kind of observe yourself making these decisions, doing these things. And also, I had to realize that, okay, I'm I'm doing, and I'm tired. Like, I'm physically tired. That's the first sign. If nothing else, the very first sign is that you're tired. That means you don't like it, your body is not being rejuvenated by it, and you need to pivot. Because now that I have refocused and recentered on my joy and what I like to do, I get giddy to get up in the morning. I be up at 5 o'clock in the morning on my own. And I don't even about me, I was a night shift nurse. I was not a morning person. Still, a little iffy, but I know when I don't like going somewhere, I'm not going to be there on time. I know when I don't want to be there, I'm not, my body is going to tell me. So I start letting my joy be my compass, my energy levels be my compass. And yes, you're not going to always feel like doing the things that you need to do, but it's that, it's the, if when you think about the end goal, you get this giddy feeling, this joy, you have to recenter that as the vision, right? And when I say recenter that, it's about really looking forward and knowing that, okay, I make this decision today so that I can get to this indecision that really brings me joy. That is self love because you're using joy as your compass. You're not using, um, outside influences to tell you what you need to be doing. You're doing it because you know that the end goal is going to bring you joy. And that's when people, I think, self-discipline is, it sounds so harsh. It sounds so masculine. And I shifted it to be like, no, this is self-devotion. This is a devotion and a promise that I made to myself. And this is how I show up to myself. And then I had to also, another spiritual component. I watched my dad be a good father, kind of, but I definitely saw him be a horrible husband, right? So because of that, I had to reshift some things. And when we think about what discipline is, it is a masculine thing. Devotion, it's masculine kind of if you compare it to that of discipline, but it's more feminine. It has a feminine touch to it, and you can work with your true essence in this way. So when I work with my true essence in this way, I'm able to take my masculine traits and my feminine traits and kind of have them do a sort of like a dance with each other instead of neglecting it altogether. Say, oh, I don't feel like doing that. I don't like to do that type of stuff. Like for me, it's really the technical stuff I don't like doing. I don't like the numbers part of things. I like making money. I know how to create and I know how to generate money. But the management of the money, child, please. Like I know where it's going and I have the potential to do it. And I'm probably really good at it when I put my mind to it, but it just in the moment it feels overwhelming. And I have to constantly be aware that this is one of those things that like I did not see growing up. I had to learn on my own and I'm still learning every day and having compassion for myself in that way because if I ain't gonna do it, who else gonna do it? So it was a moment where I just, I really reconnected with my joy and I really saw like a spiritual blockage leave my body, right? I saw this leave my body and it felt so like invigorating. Like it felt like, it just felt like a release. And I am so appreciative that I'm able to acknowledge both mind, body, and spirit of everything and transcend timelines for myself to be able to show up differently in my life. When I say this has been the happiest I've ever been. Like I this frequency, this timeline that I'm on right now, it's the best that I've ever been. And I think it's because I'm truly learning that life is about dancing with the unknown. It's about trusting without having all the details. It's about, you know, creating a vision and taking inspired action based off intuition, but also at the same time having discernment about the decisions that I'm making. And yes, I may fail and I may hit my head, but like it's like, so what? Like, what if I don't? It's like we have this we can dream, all of these bad things will happen, but at the very same time, you can dream positive outcomes. Like all of it is the use of your imagination. Um, okay, so I recorded this whole thing and it didn't get most of what I talked about. But just, you know, the main thing is realizing that you're not a resource for other people's chaos. Their emergency is not your emergency. Having boundaries around your time and your joy is super important, and scheduling your joy is top tier, right? You really need to. Not that you really need to, because I really don't like using absolutes, but I really feel that it's important for our joy and our energy levels that we start to do things that really resonate with our spirit and really sit with us in ways that transform us, right? Because what is a life like what, how are we really living? Like, are we really living? Are you really getting to live? Being a servant is not a leader. Okay, you don't have to prove your worth through pain and suffering anymore. We really have to stand up for what we believe in, start speaking our truth, and showing up as our true selves, because we're betraying ourselves by not doing that. We're lying. We are liars if we're not doing that. And if you're like me, I hate a liar, okay? I don't do liars, okay? And I used to call myself like Queen Loyalty when I was like in high school, but I was not even loyal to myself. I was loyal to everything outside of me. The only relationship that matters and that will bleed into everything else is you. The relationship that you have with yourself is going to bleed into everything else. And we have to start realizing that some of this is spiritual, some of this is loops that we're in, and some of it is physical blockages, right? So when I say physical blockages, that's what I meant about the movement. Shaking your body, doing a little, 1-2 step, getting outside, doing things that help you to heal every day, like rituals. So yeah. Where in your life have you confused service with self-abandonment? What might joy look like if it didn't need to be earned? Right? What might joy look like for you if it didn't need to be earned? Answer that. Also, maybe let's try like a soft little ritual overnight. Like I said, my I am rituals. Well, my I am protocol, that what I call it. Anyway, if this has helped you, like and subscribe for more. I am excited. These will be coming. These little things will be coming out. Not little things. These videos will be coming out every Saturday. So you can grab your tea and we can have girl chat, because like I feel like there's not been a safe space for us girls, especially us that are in the boardrooms, we're in the offices, where we are providers, or wherever you are, you're in the courtroom, wherever you are, and you're shining and you're showing up in that role. But there are other roles too, and we have to have a place that supports all of us, not just one portion of us. So yeah, join by clicking the subscribe button, and we gonna talk every Saturday, girl. Grab your tea and your blanket and let's chat. Good night.